Welcome to Anonymous Tarot. I'm Cleo, and I'm here with Billy. Today, we're exploring the Ten of Wands, a card that embodies the weight of responsibility and the burden of carrying others' expectations.
I love this card, Cleo. It feels like a heavy, weighty energy, like the physical act of carrying a large burden on our shoulders.
That's exactly what this card is about. The Ten of Wands often represents a situation where we're shouldering the weight of others' demands, whether it's a family member, a colleague, or even our own subconscious fears.
I think it's also about the weight of our own desires and expectations. When we are carrying the Ten of Wands, we're often putting the needs of others before our own, leaving us feeling drained and unfulfilled.
That's a beautiful insight, Billy. The Ten of Wands can also indicate a sense of being overwhelmed by the demands of our own lives, like the weight of our own responsibilities and commitments.
And I think that's what makes this card so challenging. It's not just about carrying the weight of others, but also about recognizing when we are carrying our own weight and making a conscious choice to let go and prioritize our own needs.
In ancient Greek mythology, the Ten of Wands represents the weight of responsibility, a burden that's been passed down through generations. This card is often associated with the hero Hercules, who was tasked with completing a series of impossible labors. The weight of the world, so to speak, rests on his shoulders, and it's a symbol of the crushing responsibility that comes with leadership.
I love how this card taps into the idea of inheritance. It's as if the weight of our ancestors' struggles and triumphs is still present in us, and we are carrying that burden forward. It's a reminder that our actions have consequences, not just for ourselves, but for those who come after us.
That's a beautiful way to frame it, Billy. The Ten of Wands is also associated with the concept of karma, the idea that our actions will come back to haunt us if we don't take responsibility for them. It's a call to acknowledge the weight of our own actions and to take ownership of our choices.
I think that's one of the most empowering things about this card. It's not about being burdened by responsibility, but about being mindful of the impact our actions have on others. It's a reminder to be present, to be aware of the world around us, and to make choices that align with our values and principles.
That's so well said, Billy. In some mythologies, the Ten of Wands is also associated with the goddess Demeter, who was tasked with caring for her daughter Persephone. The weight of that responsibility is immense, but it's also a symbol of the power of love and care that can transform even the most burdensome tasks into something beautiful.
I love the connection to Demeter, Cleo. It highlights the idea that even in the darkest moments, there's always the potential for transformation and growth. The Ten of Wands is a reminder that we have the power to transform our burdens into something meaningful if we approach them with the right mindset and attitude.
In the dream, the Ten of Wands presents itself as a burden, a weight that's crushing the self. This is a symbol of the ego's capacity to carry the weight of our own expectations, our own sense of responsibility.
I see this weight as a manifestation of our inner critic, the part of us that constantly strives for more, for perfection, and yet feels stuck in a state of stagnation.
The Ten of Wands is also associated with the Greek myth of Atlas, who was tasked with holding up the heavens. This myth speaks to the idea that our burdens are not just our own, but also the weight of the world upon us.
I think it's interesting how this card can also represent the weight of our own desires, our own deepest longings. It's as if we are carrying the weight of our own expectations, and yet we are also searching for a way to let go of that weight.
This card can also be seen as a reminder that our burdens are not just internal, but also external. We carry the weight of our relationships, our responsibilities, and our sense of duty.
What I find fascinating about this card is the tension between carrying the weight and letting go. Is this card a reminder to take on more responsibility, or is it a call to release the weight and allow ourselves to float?
The Ten of Wands often represents the weight of responsibility, the burden of carrying the world's expectations onto our shoulders. We're not just talking about external responsibilities, but also the emotional toll of caring for others, of being a source of comfort and support for those around us.
I see this weight as a manifestation of our inner resistance to vulnerability. We carry the weight of our own fears, our own doubts, and our own insecurities, and that's what makes it so hard to let go and truly be present with others.
Yes, and that's where the symbol of the wands comes in. The 10 wands often represent a collective burden, a shared weight that's passed down through generations. It's not just about our individual responsibilities, but about our connection to the collective unconscious.
That's so true. And it's also about the myth of the trickster. We are all tricksters in some way, hiding our true selves behind masks of responsibility and duty. The Ten of Wands is a call to acknowledge that trickster aspect of ourselves and to release the need for control.
I think that's where the importance of ritual and ceremony comes in. By acknowledging and honoring our collective burdens, we can begin to let go of that need for control and instead find a sense of liberation in surrendering to the greater good.
Exactly, and that's what I think is so beautiful about this card. It's not just about the weight of responsibility, but about the possibility of transformation and rebirth that comes from embracing that weight.
The Ten of Wands represents a moment of culmination, where the weight of our choices and responsibilities has reached a breaking point. We're often carrying the burden of others and the weight of our own expectations. The flip side of this card is a turning point, where we're forced to confront the reality of our situation and make a choice, to continue carrying the weight or to release it.
I love how this card often shows a figure standing at the edge of a precipice, looking out at a vast expanse of possibility. The flip side suggests that we have a choice to make, to leap into the unknown or to retreat to the familiar, even if it's no longer serving us. What do you think is the most important thing for us to consider when we are faced with this decision?
I think the key is to look at the symbolism of the figure on the Ten of Wands. They're often shown as a weight bearer, carrying the burden of the world on their shoulders. In the flip side, this figure is no longer burdened by the weight. They're free to move, to flow, to be guided by their own inner wisdom. What does this say about the nature of responsibility and burden?
That's so interesting, Cleo. I think the flip side of this card also speaks to the idea of surrender. We're often forced to confront the fact that we can't carry the weight of the world on our own. The flip side suggests that this is a necessary step towards release, towards finding a new way of being in the world. But what about the part of us that resists surrender? How do we reconcile that with the need to let go?
For me, the resistance to surrender is a reflection of our deep-seated fears and anxieties. We fear that if we let go of the weight, we'll lose control or fail. But the flip side of the Ten of Wands suggests that this is a false narrative. By releasing the weight, we create space for something new to emerge. We need to trust that the universe has our back, and that we're capable of navigating the unknown.
I think that's a beautiful way to approach it, Cleo. The flip side of the Ten of Wands is a reminder that we have the power to choose, to create, and to manifest our desires. It's a call to trust in the unknown, to have faith in ourselves and the universe. And I think that's a message that we can all benefit from.
The Ten of Wands is a card of culmination, where the weight of responsibility is palpable. It's as if our shoulders are shouldering the entire burden of our endeavors. We're carrying the load, but is it ours alone?
I find this card to be particularly interesting when it comes to the idea of burden and weight. Is it the weight of our own expectations, or is it something more external that's crushing us?
In many ancient cultures, the weight of responsibility was seen as a test of character. It was believed that by shouldering this burden, we would prove our strength and worth. But what if this weight is not a badge of honor, but a sign of being overwhelmed?
I think that's where the symbolism of the wands in this card comes in. We're not just carrying the weight of our own shoulders, but also the weight of our own creative potential. Is this weight a blessing or a curse?
The Ten of Wands can also represent the weight of our own shadow, the parts of ourselves that we've rejected or hidden, the parts that we're afraid to confront. Is this weight something we're carrying on our own, or is it something that's outside of us trying to be acknowledged?
I think that's what makes this card so powerful. It invites us to confront the parts of ourselves that we've been trying to avoid. By acknowledging this weight, we can begin to release it and find a sense of liberation.
The cards have spoken.
We'll see you at the next draw.